is up, guys, and welcome back to GameBird Classic. So I'm a little over 10 hours into Pokémon Legends Z-A, and I gotta be honest, I'm having a really good time so far. This game has some big steps forward, but it also has some major steps backwards. But by the end of this video, I'm going to tell you exactly why I'm both impressed and disappointed with this game so far. But without further ado, let's dig right in.
In and out.
For those Slim Jim!
You're watching GameBird Classic. One more thing, don't forget to hit that like button and smash that subscription button so you guys can be notified when I upload brand new videos. Take it away. First things first, while I do love Pokemon games, I'm not an avid Pokemon / Game Freak defender. I do feel that Game Freak has built a track record of poor decisions and inexcusable quality control, especially since the jump to console. This is one of the most lucrative companies, guys, in the industry, and I don't think they should be given a pass. I've often compared them to Bethesda, two insanely lucrative companies that sell janky, ugly, and broken games by the millions. I think the reason for that is, despite their problems or missed opportunities, Pokemon games are generally really fun. But you're here for my thoughts on Z-A, so let's get into it. I'll kick things off with a negative, then a positive, and kind of bounce back and forth just to keep this video nice and balanced. So let's start up with the first negative, and the most obvious in my opinion, the art style. It sucks. I've said this for a long time, Pokemon doesn't have a graphics problem, it has an art style problem, and I stand by that with the release of Legends Z-A. I think we got a small step in the right direction towards something more stylized in Legends Arceus, and I would have loved to have seen them lean much harder into that, creating something with a lot more personality or charm, and really just giving life and character to the people, Pokemon, and world that they all inhabit. It doesn't need to be realism. It doesn't need to push the hardware to its boundaries. It just needs that visual charm. What we've gotten in the console era has been bland, boring, and uninspired, and honestly, for me, a step down from those later 2D sprites of the times of yore. Hell, if they even leaned into a beautiful cell shading art style, I think that would work wonders for the series. I think Z-A is a massive improvement technically, but visually, it just lacks that painterly charm that Legends Arceus had, and didn't really do anything to make the art stand out from past modern entries. Now let's dive into a positive, the combat system. Guys, the active combat system is easily one of the best additions to Pokemon Legends Z-A. It's faster, smoother, and it makes you feel more directly involved in the battles instead of just standing there and issuing commands. You're moving and dodging and making choices in real time, especially when a trainer's changing up its Pokemon and you've got to react quickly to it. And it just gives the fights an actual feel of tension and energy. It's the first time in a long time that Pokemon battles have felt this fresh. The strategy is here, but also there's emotion and rhythm to it. It finally feels like the kind of modern hybrid system Pokemon's been kind of flirting with for forever, but not quite committing to. And I think it's definitely a step up from the Arceus battles. And don't get me wrong, I loved the concept of the fast and strong style attacks, but I never really felt their impact when battling. At least from what I could remember. Feel free to let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on that one. Okay, now here's a negative, and it's a big one for me so far. The world design is a complete miss for me. Lumiose is organized and functional, but it doesn't pull me in the way Arceus did. There's less mystery, less sense of wonder, and no sprawling vistas that give you that sense of adventure. In Legends Arceus, you wanted to explore, to discover new Pokemon, and just to see what secrets and discoveries might be out there. Z-A doesn't really encourage that, at least nowhere near the same degree as Arceus. And I don't think the game taking place in one city is the problem either. I actually love that concept, and there are many games out there that do this, and they do it really well. It can be such a sick world and game design, but it just would have taken a lot more effort from Game Freak. Effort that they haven't shown previously, and it's something I feared early on when the game was announced that this would be a miss. Had they put NPCs on a schedule to make the city feel more alive and lived in, given the different quadrants of the city, unique looks and different biomes, letting players enter the sewer systems or actually see the city being built up and becoming more advanced as you progress through the story. All those things would have been so rad. And hey, maybe some of that stuff is here, and I just haven't gotten that far yet. But this was definitely a concern I had pre-release, and it's sad to see the missed potential here post-release. The wild zones, they don't cut it. They're not even unique zones. They're just walled off parts of the city. Okay, I think it's time for another positive. The checklist style structure and carrot on a stick gameplay really works for me here. There's something incredibly satisfying about constantly ticking off little goals and being rewarded for it. Whether it's upping your rank, completing the research levels, doing side quests, completing your Pokédex, and more, it really gives every session in this game a sense of purpose. I feel like I'm always working towards something, and the moment-to-moment gameplay in Z-A feels a bit more fast-paced and a bit more dense than Arceus. Granted, exploring and catching Pokemon in Arceus was an absolute joy, but the gameplay loop was definitely a bit slower, and at times the game felt a bit sparse. I did get a little bit sick of doing all those Pokédex quests where you had to just catch like 25 of the same Pokemon for every Pokemon. It was a little bit monotonous, but I think this kind of more checklisty structure in Z-A is smart, especially for kind of a hybrid Pokemon portable home console experience. It's made the pacing feel really tight. And now another negative, voice acting. I don't know what it is, but the lack of voice acting for some reason is really jarring in this game in a way that I never felt in prior entries. And this isn't a huge issue, obviously, but even minimal voice work here, or sounds like you see in games like Banjo-Kazooie or The Sims, I feel would go a long way. The characters and Pokemon this time are super animated, and they're missing something to give them more personality, to make it feel a bit more immersive. And I think with the city being the theme of the game, I don't know, you just want to hear talking in the background, and you want to hear voices and conversations going on. I swear, when that first cinematic popped up, I actually thought my game was bugging out. I thought there was something wrong. It was so awkward. But again, this isn't a huge issue with the game. This is just a little touch that, obviously the previous entries don't have it, but it would have been really nice to have here. All right, jumping into another positive, we've got the music, something that Pokémon Legends Z-A absolutely nails. The soundtrack, guys, is fantastic. It's jazzy, moody, and it fits the city setting perfectly. And some of these tracks sound like they could be in one of the Persona games. And I mean that as such a high compliment. It gives the world more feel and soul. And I think this is easily an OST that I will probably find myself popping on from time to time while I'm working, or maybe even, thinking of ideas for a video. I just like it that much. Not too much to say here. I just really like the music. I love the jazz. It's awesome. All right, here's another negative for both Legends games, actually. And this one's more of a personal complaint of mine. I'm sure some people will disagree with me on this, and that's totally okay. But I've got to talk about the lack of gyms. Guys, I love gyms, and I hate when gyms aren't present in Pokemon games. I hated it in Legends Arceus. I didn't like when Sun and Moon replaced them with trials. I know some people felt like that was a breath of fresh air. Me, I like the gyms. I really, really love the gyms. And I know this is a Legends title. I know it's not a mainline Pokemon game, but man, I feel like gyms would be awesome. Gyms give Pokemon that satisfying structure, that feeling of progress, of challenge, collecting badges to mark your journey. And for me, without that, the game loses something. And I know people might say, well, hey, you have the rank battles and your progress is marked from going from Z to A. But still, at least in the beginning, it's happening so fast that it just doesn't have that same feel. And I feel like there's a way that they could have incorporated it in this game where you hit a certain letter rank milestone, and that's the precursor to be allowed into a certain gym, where you have like the puzzle solving in the gym and really cool trainers, themed trainers with big personalities. But yeah, I don't know. These ones are definitely missing from me. I was really hoping that it's something, especially now that we're in a city, something that we'd see, and their presence was definitely missed in Arceus. I was like, man, I could only imagine how much I would love this game if it had gyms in it. Missions and requests, they also kind of help fill that gap, but they just don't hit the same emotional beats. And you don't really build the same connection with the rival trainers or gym leaders that make each victory super memorable. And something to, I don't know, break up the pacing. Again, it's milestones, but I don't know. I miss gyms. Now, I know what some people are going to say. They're going to say I'm shilling for Nintendo, and honestly, that's totally fine. Some people are shills, sure, but people throw that word around like it's confetti. But I've never been sent a single thing from Nintendo or Game Freak. Not $1, not a game, nothing. I've also been super vocal about my issues with Game Freak and how they absolutely do not deserve a pass for what's felt like many effortless releases. I'm just giving my genuine early impressions. Guys, I'm only 10 hours in. Could I not like Z-A by the end? Yeah, that's totally possible. And I do worry with the limited world design that this game could lose a lot of its luster well before I reach the end. But I won't know until I get there. Right now, though, I'm having a lot of fun. We've hit this weird point online where liking something automatically means you're a shill, disliking it automatically means you're just a hater. And I think there's value in just having fun while still offering a critique or talking about its flaws or what you think could be better. Guys, I mean, what happened to just liking but not loving something? What happened to a decent game or a pretty good one? Do people still know it's okay to say it's fun but I didn't love it? It's also okay to like games that aren't masterpieces. As a fan of the Dynasty Warriors series and the Musou games, there are plenty of average titles that were a blast for me. That goes for movies too. Why is everything so black and white? Where's the nuance? Like what you like, ignore the grifts, ignore the shills, find what you enjoy and play it. And let us play what we enjoy. In the words of my friend and fellow co-host on the Nintendo Byte podcast, Thunderstash Gaming, it's video games, guys. It's not that serious. Oh, and for people who feel I'm just praising anything on Nintendo, here's some clips of me on the Nintendo Byte podcast, just a few from only this past year of me showing skepticism of Z-A and critiquing Game Freak. The bigger issue than the graphics or the fact that it's, on the Switch 1, which isn't this super powerhouse, is the art style that the Pokemon Company uses or Game Freak uses is terrible. It's bland, it's boring. They don't need to chase super powerful graphics engine. If they could at least use a more interesting art style can do wonders. I think the art style in Pokemon sucks. And you might disagree with me. You might get mad at me for saying that in the chat, but it sucks. It's boring. It's bland. You have some performance concerns just based off of their history with their recent titles. And I have some concerns with the wild zones because from the trailer, I'm curious how expansive these wild zones are going to be. The ones that we saw looked really tiny. So I'm hoping for some big expansive biomes throughout the city that are dedicated to Pokemon catching and Pokemon battling. That's yet to be seen.
You'll never play with
Dude, we're getting mega evolutions for Pokemon when we still have Pokemon that don't have evolutions.
They don't need evolution. That's balancing, buddy. That's how the game's balanced.
Weird, decline of Pokemon game sales. I mean, hey, it's happening with Bethesda. People gave them a pass game after broken game after broken game after broken game before people started getting upset. Maybe one day it'll happen with Pokemon, especially if they don't get the performance kinks worked out. But I don't think there's anything about what we've seen in Z-A that would be like, take me from not caring that much about Pokemon to, oh, hell yeah, I gotta play this one.
Yeah,
this is the one I
like a Donkey Kong Direct.
Yeah.
That's
And I
how
don't want to put words in your mouth, Nate, but like I just feel like if I was coming at it from your position, nothing I saw today would have sold me on the game.
So yeah, Pokemon Legends Z-A is a strange but fascinating step for the Legends series. It's definitely didn't build on the aspects of Legends Arceus in a way that a lot of us had hoped for or even dreamed of for that matter, but it's definitely not a broken disaster and there's still a lot of fun to be had here. What I really love about the Legends games so far is each one is kind of its own concept, and I hope they stick with that and just experiment and try new things. No Legends game should feel the same. Leave that to the mainline. Take what works, take the innovations and the great ideas that resonate with the fan base, and find a way to inject those into the mainline games. I would love to see that. Leave the stuff that we're not liking to the wayside. We don't want that. But guys, what do you think of Legends Z-A? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it somewhere in between? Sound off on the comment section below. I want to hear your thoughts, but until next time, guys, I see you all on the next Game Bird Classic. Peace.